Hi Cancer, welcome to your March reading. Let's get some cards out. It's an interesting day. I'm glad I picked today to do your reading. Okay. Oh, look. Like I said, it's an interesting day. Let's get some more cards out. And then we'll go through. Let's look at these first. And then we'll talk about all the notes, all the astrology. This reminds me of back in the day, right? There's some synergy there. I knew it. Ay. Okay. A little more. Let's go for a little more. I have to do that because of YouTube guidelines. Because they're naked. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So first I'm just going to look at them. This is how I used to do the readings when I first started the channel. The channel's birthday is February 25th. It just passed. And today is a day where we have some, we have some chaos. Oh, as I said that, my earring just fell out of my ear. Nice. We have some chaos. Venus squares Uranus. And we want to find our way back to something true. So let's look at these just on their own. And then we'll talk about what's happening in the sky. So the Hermit and the Lovers, you know what I'm going to say. That person, they've been so elusive and they've been evasive, let's be honest. They won't give you a straight answer. Double points if they're a Virgo or a Gemini. They won't give you a straight answer, but they also are giving off such, I'm connected to you to such a level that it's toxic vibes. And it's probably been happening for a while. But there has been some gap here, some lost time where you didn't talk to them and they haven't been around and you've had to take a forced rest. And in that time of forced rest, you might have thought a lot of things about them. Some true, some not. It's hard to hold somebody in high esteem when they're moving funny and stupid, So you did the best you could. You used your discernment. But things were cloudy. Things were confused. Your emotions were high. You most probably felt slighted. Your ego was hurt. You didn't like the look of it, and you didn't like what it made you look like. And actually, also, does it have something to do with my looks? There's a lot of Libra doubts that jumped up in your head. Now, if this person, like I said, a Virgo, double points if it's a Virgo or a Gemini. But this Libra energy, it could be someone who's been always trying to help. They've always tried to be the voice of reason in the situation and say, hey, things are really out of balance and I know you guys like feel like there's some deep love here, but this is not how one behaves. We need to be much more on our shit. And that energy has been unwelcome. You know, we don't want to hear that. We haven't wanted to hear it. And yet the message got through. There is an authority that we are building as people. It started with that radical self-honesty, the accountability that we delved, deep into last month. And I think we're realizing that once you get to a certain depth and you stop being a creature of the tide, people's motivations not only become clear, but they can also change. On a certain level of reality, one has to accept things. On another level of reality and radical self-acceptance and surrender, one can change those things. If your intentions are pure, if your intentions are good. Now, Mars and Venus are going to do a lot of dances, and we're going to talk about them. I have 4 pages of notes that we have to get through. But I like what we're doing right now, and I think we can do all of that in the extended. Mars and Venus and the squares they create with Uranus will create the necessary chaos to bring about the necessary good. This Libra energy, you may have tried to hold on to them in the wrong way. And for some of you, you're finding that this person, this situation that you've been making up like fearful stories about in your head because you just had no feedback, this person is coming back to you really kind of clingy now, with a whole different energy, with this like, I want to work at it, I want to communicate, I'm flirtatious, I was a ghost before, but now I'm flirting, now I'm, charming, and it's weird. And I think it actually helps you see through someone that you actually had a lot of respect for. You don't have to lose respect for them, but I think you do a little bit. Because you just thought of them as being so, top tier in so many ways. I mean, your mind is changing, and I think your mind changing has also a lot to do with how much your view of yourself has changed for the positive. I don't want to belabor the point, but do you see how just a few weeks of not letting your emotions run you has created so much stability and growth? You may have lost respect to a certain degree for this person, for these people, for this job, whatever it is that this game up here is about. But that doesn't mean that you can't take advantage of the situation and get the stability, the financial situation, the happiness, whatever you're looking for, out of it. The fact that things have not been good does not preclude you from having a happy future, even with that person. But this is not someone who was abusive to you. This is not someone who has done you wrong. This is someone like that you feel like they got away, and they feel like you got away. And the timing wasn't... It was like they were there and then they were gone. Real Virgo energy. No explanation. Very confusing. Does a number on your self-esteem. So in that way, yes, hurtful, but this is not some toxic reading about how you should go back to some piece of shit who is treating you bad. No way. No way. Number one rule. You make me happy or I walk. Sideways or not, I don't give a fuck. Okay. Now, Venus is playing the game that Venus is playing, and we see it here. Mars has its own game. This is financial. And I want to look at my notes while we talk about this, but I'll say this here. You have the same access to instinctual knowledge that an Aries does. The only difference in your ability to execute based on this knowledge, the only difference between you and Aries, both cardinals, is that you hesitate. And if you are able to quiet this, make a routine for yourself, but really find a chunk of time every day where you are quiet enough to let your instincts speak to you, because they won't speak to you while you're working, and they won't speak to you when you're talking or listening. They're not going to speak to you while you're watching TV. You need some quiet. And in that quiet, hopefully you can make sense of how jibber jabber this voice is. Hopefully you can see past its anxiety, and you can label it for what it is, acknowledge it for what it is, which is simply, the voice is a personification of your fear that you may actually get what you want, that you may have the instincts that it takes to succeed where others cannot, that your cardinal dreams of success could actually be true. You hesitate when success is at your door because there is an essence of Cancer that is very gentle. And as the I Ching posits to us, if you have a choice between fame and fortune and brilliance and living a quiet life on top of a mountain, if you have any hesitation, choose the latter. So you have a choice here, but Mars is going to really heighten and sharpen your instincts, especially when it comes to money. And you can capitalize on it in such an interesting way. Essentially, all you have to do is listen. And when that natural hesitation comes in, choose to believe in yourself more than you believe in that voice of hesitation. If you can, through this process here, which is totally different, this is love, this is finances, if you can trust yourself through this process, you're going to prove something to yourself, that even in the midst of what some would consider your weakness, love and entanglements, etc., even in the midst of dealing with issues there, chaos, even in the midst of events that seemingly from past history would have made people think you'd lose your balance, you're actually maintaining your balance and forging forward with quite a lot of panache, if I may say so. And the wealth indicated is all yours. It's not a joint effort. It's not a collaboration. It's you deciding, I want more now. I want the next level of security. And obviously, this person, this thing, cannot be the source of it, because now it feels like they're clinging to me. By the end of this process, they will be clinging to you. Mainly because you've finally gotten, on the boat. You're finally on the boat. And where does the boat go? The boat takes you and your new thought process, well, look at there, to the kind of success that you crave, that you want, that you deserve. It takes you to emotional and financial stability, community, celebration, and affirmation of life. I feel like we walk into April affirmed in the choices we've made, the things we've rejected, the things we've accepted. Because we're deeply aware that we put ourselves first and we made the decisions that were emotionally the safest and best for us. We're quickly losing our ability. There's this thing about the equinoxes here and how this signifies the precession of the equinoxes. It's a sea change. You cared, I would say, even more deeply for others than you did, because we can only care about people as deeply as we care about ourselves. This journey, mashallah, it's beautiful, but it's inward, and it's created a lot of space that now this abundance can fill, right? Well, you've created just as much space in your relationship with other people. People have noticed that you've grown, that you're deeper, that you care more, that you can show how much you care. Your value has not just been raised in your own eyes and in the eyes of the business and financial world. You've been raised in the eyes of those you respect and those you love. And even though you disappear into your shell here and there, you haven't been doing it, not quite as much. Sure, you may have been a homebody, but you have all of March to be stuck by the love bug. Don't worry. This person is quite determined to make an ass of themselves, so it looks like either way you get your retribution. As you have grown, so has your capacity for love, and it's a process that doubles on itself and continues, inshallah, hopefully forever. This is quite a path, and I would hope, and it looks like, you have found some real ease and stability in it, emotional ease. I think that's a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot to be grateful for. So, although March has its chaotic moments and, Pluto is just getting started, we are, after all, a cardinal sign and very well equipped. Just turns out that the reason we don't need a shell anymore is because all the things that we needed a shell to protect ourselves from, all those things we've learned how to navigate. That's what I mean by we've grown up. We've learned how to stand up for ourselves, take care of ourselves, advocate for ourselves. And also to find the fine line between running away and taking our own time. Everything has become so much more intentional. And I think that brings a sense of order to our lives that we need. Okay, this is what the readings are like, excuse me, when I do personal readings. So if you like this style of reading, there's a link below, a Cameo link, and you can order a reading like this. All these notes we'll do in the extended, and that's going to be on Vimeo and on Patreon, and there's also an instant link, like a way that you could just buy it one time and have the link sent to you. Okay, I love you. I'll see you in the extended.